Hello, you wonderful people. As you know, for the past couple years, you know, superheroes have kind of been like the huge big thing lately. You know, it's like as Marvel's been killing it with, like, you know, the movies, you know, the individual hero movies like Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, as well as, you know, the Avengers, and, you know, coming up soon, the Avengers Age of Ultron. I mean, at the time of recording this video, the movie's coming out this Friday, so. And as someone who's always been really big into superheroes, it's I don't know, it feels me, it's like a kid-like nostalgia kicks in, because like I've always been really into superheroes, like, because I used to run around in my underwear, which I've talked about in a previous video. But like playing superheroes, especially like Batman or Superman, are like two big superheroes that I grew up watching. More specifically Spider-Man, because Spider-Man has always been my favorite ever since I was a kid. I grew up watching the cartoons in the 90s up till now. Like, I still watch Spider-Man. Everything Spider-Man related, I love it. No matter how much someone can shit on something, it's like I will love it because it is Spider-Man. Except for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I've not been able to watch that movie because I've heard nothing but negative things about it. And it kind of ruined it for me. Like, as someone who never saw it, it just ruined it for me when other people just shit on it. So I can't even enjoy it without just like I said, people's opinions influence me too much. But that's beside the point. But what I really like about this whole thing is it introduces me to like superheroes like I knew next to nothing about when I was younger. Like, for instance, Iron Man, I knew a little bit here and there about Iron Man. And granted, I hear that, you know, the movie adaptations, you know, the character might be a little bit different, and certain aspects obviously are different. Like I said, Iron Man, I knew next to nothing about. I knew next to nothing about Thor or even Captain America. But because of those movies, I've got to learn about these superheroes I knew a little bit about, and now I know a little bit more about them. I also get to learn about superheroes I know nothing about. Like, for instance, Deadpool is probably a great example of that. Deadpool, I knew at the very least nothing about. Now I know a little bit more because of the X-Men, was it Wolverine Origins movie? It introduced the character Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds. It's a little, probably like, it's nowhere near as extreme as the character Deadpool is, but maybe that's supposed to represent Deadpool in his earlier stages. We kind of already know what happens to Deadpool at the end of the movie, which kind of sucks because I really like that character. But more specifically, like, the Deadpool video game kind of opened my mind up to who Deadpool is, and then I start hearing other people talk about Deadpool, and they're like, oh, that game actually kind of nailed it, because that's what Deadpool's kind of like in the comic books and stuff. He's kind of a bit off his fucking rocker, and it's real, because I never knew that about him, that he's so literally fucking insane. This is just from a movie point of view. There's like the TV show point of view where it's like Arrow and Flash. I'm sure there's obviously some differences, you know, between what's adapted into the TV show versus what's in the comic book, but it's still interesting learning these backgrounds about the certain characters, like Oliver Queen, who is Green Arrow. Like, the whole island thing, I knew a tidbit about his whole experience on the island, like, you know, those 5 years on the island, just because like Smallville referenced it. And then, you know, you got Barry Allen's kind of past, you know, you find out about his whole situation with his mom. Now, I don't know how much of that is actually connected to the comic book. I feel like that'd be something true to the comic book, but maybe it's not. But it's still a really interesting aspect, because like, that show, The Flash, actually makes me super hyped for like The Flash. I was never like super hyped for The Flash. I liked The Flash, but it wasn't like all that amazing to me. But, you know, because of the TV show, I'm like all about it now, you know. Really interesting next couple years, because didn't Marvel say that they had like the literally like next decade or two planned out of like, okay, what movies are we going to release and in what order? Which is like, man, that's amazing to be able to think that far ahead from like a business perspective. It's like, it's really interesting, and I'm kind of excited for it, because, you know, you hear about all these other storylines that you're going to be introduced to, like in Captain America 3. That's the whole like Civil War arc in the comic books, which, like, I've never read the comic books, but I've heard people talk about what that storyline's about, and I'm very interested to see it. But here I am just blabbering on, and this video makes absolutely no sense at all. One message I want to get across this video is, yay, superheroes. My question to you is, what superhero stuff are you more excited about? You know, is there like any particular movie you're really like interested in seeing in the future? Is there anything like, you know, if you're a comic book person, is there like anything specifically in a comic book you're like, oh yeah, like this Spider-Man storyline I'd really like to see it adapted into a movie or a TV show or whatever. Tell me all that in the comments down below. Like I always say, the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.